just a really a fun time.
Who puts those tours together if someone wanted to do the tour of the
We've
Sturgeon?
got two outfitters that we deal with here with the Gaylord Bureau. Sturgeon River Paddle Sports up in Wolverine does a nice job, and they do it in the summer too, and they rent kayaks and canoes in the summertime. And then Big Bear Adventures up near Indian River does winter guided, and it's really taken off. A lot of people are doing it and just having an awful lot of fun.
You mentioned the snowmobile trails a little earlier, Paul, and I can't think of a town in the northern Lower Peninsula where that trail goes right through downtown.
It does,
right near your office.
In the city of Gaylord and the county roads, snowmobiles are permitted on city streets, and snowmobiles are permitted on county road right-of-ways, except for state trunk lines in the county of Otsego. So you can really get around. When I was in grade school, I delivered newspapers on a snowmobile because when you're 12, all you need is a permit.
Right.
So when I was 12, from 12 on out, man, I delivered paper out on a snowmobile.
Awesome.
You would too.
And I would.
I can see you doing that. No question about it.
Well, and even if you don't have your own snowmobile, you can come up to Gaylord and rent one, including all of the equipment, and go out and have a great time and experience what it might be like to snowmobile.
We have some great snowmobile rental companies, and a lot of people have gone to that if they haven't. They want to try it out and they don't want to invest yet in a snowmobile. You can rent snowmobiles all day. They'll have the helmets. They'll have the outdoor gear if you don't have that. They'll give you safety instructions, and off you go, and they'll tell you the time to be back, and they'll give you a map. But it's a really fun way to go. Or if you just want to try it, you want to do something different, we have a number of snowmobile rental companies here in the Gaylord area.
That was one of the most fun things I did last year, was when we got to go on the snowmobiles. And I love that they rent the equipment, because you show up with like your heaviest winter coat. They're like, oh, no, you're going to take this. And then it made such a difference because you were totally comfortable. The snowmobiles are heated now.
Right.
So you could be out there for hours and not even think twice about it. And it's crazy when you're going 100 miles an hour across a frozen lake.
It really is, and when you're on the trails, it's gotten really technical. People think you're just sitting there, pushing the gas. But, there's leaning involved, and you got to work with the snowmobile. And a lot of people don't realize, sometimes you got to get off the seat a little bit. But you've got to work with that machine, and you've got to be able to corner. So, beginners can do it, but it's not just like you're sitting there in a straight-up position.
The next day I was so sore.
You've got to work a little bit.
It was like riding a horse, kind of. Like you had to work with that. But the next day I was like, oh, my stomach.
Yeah. But it's a great way to experience the outdoors. And as you mentioned, you've got heat coming under the cowling. A lot of your all of your hand grips now, and even your thumb grips are warm, so you're staying relatively comfortable.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Well, if people want to plan a trip to Gaylord, whether this winter or next summer, and they want to come up and stay for the weekend, where should they go for more information?
They can go to GaylordMichigan.net and get trail systems. We'll send complimentary snowmobile trail maps, and we've even got some recommendations for day trips in there on things you can do, itineraries and so forth, that are really fun.
All right, that's awesome. Well, Paulie B, we're going to have you come back a little bit later to talk about some other events and things that you can do up in the Gaylord region. And coming up next, we're going to talk to our friend Barry Owens again about some cool things you can do at Treetops Resort this winter. Stay tuned to Behind the Mitten.
And welcome back to Behind the Mitten. John Gonzalez, Amy Sherman, broadcasting this weekend from Gaylord, Michigan, and having a great time.
Live from Treetops Resort.
We are. Having a great time, though. We always do with our friends here.
We do. We love to come up and visit, and we're so happy to be back. We love it when it's covered in snow like this, because it means the whole new season of cool, amazing, fun things to do all around the area. And we've got our good friend Barry Owens back with us from Treetops Resort, and you guys are killing it with snow up here.
We are. It's been, we've had great temps and great natural snow, so it's skiing, snowboarding, sledding, tubing, ice skating.
On the terrifying hill.
Yeah.
The tubing hill at Treetops is terrifying.
I have not
awesome.
done that yet. So.
You haven't done it?
No, I have not.
What the heck?
Extreme tubing.
It's extreme. I mean, like, it takes your breath away, extreme tubing.
The first time you go down there, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to make it.
Totally. Like, it took my breath away. I couldn't even scream because I was like, that silent scream.
Maybe you had acid reflux.
I might have. Well, you're going to do your extreme tubing this year.
Yeah, we'll do it this year.
Yeah, right after you do your ski lesson, which you...
I skied last year, so...
That's it. One time.
I might try it again. I just don't know yet.
Well, when you do the extreme tubing, Barry, we're gonna Facebook Live that, okay?
I'll go. And
we'll all hook up together, and then I'll have the camera on.
4 at a time and spin everybody.
Hilarious.
It's making my stomach hurt just talking about it. Well, it's just one of the many fun things that you can do here at Treetops. But some of my most favorite things to do here are the events that you have out at the Project Nature. And these are unique to anywhere in Michigan, I think.
It really is. In the wintertime, we have a couple of really cool events out there. The first one is what we call the Skiable Feast, done every Saturday after the first of the year with the exception of Super Bowl weekend. And people can either ski, cross-country ski, or snowshoe around like a 7-kilometer trail on this Project Nature property, which is a special piece of property, undeveloped, used to be an old game preserve, almost like a North American version of Jurassic Park 30 years ago. Really neat buildings, the ticket booth, the river cabin, the wilderness cabin, windows, and you travel around and you stop at 5 different trailside buffets for various food and drink. And we joke it's the only way you can cross-country ski or snowshoe and gain weight.
Those stations are great, though. I mean, you guys do. We haven't talked a lot about the food that you guys do here on the property, but when you add that to the Skiable Feast, it's just a win-win.
It really is, and it's paired with Michigan beer and wines, so you get that whole flavor in it. And some of the highlights in the food, obviously there's things like breakfast things like Danish and pastries and stuff like that, but then one of the highlights is the venison chili, which is great. And then probably the best thing on the last station is these cod sliders that they make right out there at the wilderness cabin. And those things are just like candy. I bit my finger last year eating one of them. Yeah. I might have bit somebody else's finger, too.
You might have, yeah. Well, when we did the Skiable Feast, that was the first time I'd ever cross-country skied. And so after I laid in the snowbank for about 20 minutes, falling over, but your staff was so amazing helping me figure it out and showing me what to do, and finally made it to the first place. And you guys were already all there.
We were there waiting
eating
for
and
you.
Drinking everything while I'm like, I'm dying. But it was so worth it in the end because the food was amazing, and it's beautiful, it's quiet, and the vistas out there are just, it's rolling hills, and I mean, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, up there when you're next to windows too, there's the bonfire going, and if you go up to the top part of the hill, the view there is unbelievable. On a perfect night when it's clear, you can see the Mackinac Bridge. You can see the lights from the Mackinac Bridge. Yeah, and it's neat. If you go up there for like the 4th of July or New Year's Eve, you can literally see fireworks from 4 or 5 different communities.
Oh, no way. That would be really cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's at the top of the hill, right? You took me up in the truck there that one time to check it out. Yeah.
I did, yeah.
That was cool.
Yep.
Very nice. Okay, so you also have, in case maybe you're not inclined to ski or snowshoe, you can also do the Sleigh Ride Dinner, right?
It is. So you depart here. It's actually 16 couples, 32 people. They go in a couple different waves, and you get shuttled out to the the Project Nature property, and then you hop on a beautiful sleigh with a couple of Belgian draft horses that take you on a 25-minute ride through the woods, and you come upon the wilderness cabin, and you go in there, and you get greeted with some a piano player, greeted at the door with a beverage, a little bit of hors d'oeuvres, butler served, and then you sit down for a 4-course dinner with wine, beer, drinks, whatever you want, and it's really neat. And this thing has become incredibly popular. We've actually added a bunch of dates because a bunch of them are sold out. But one date we've added that has not sold out yet is Valentine's Day.
Ooh, romantic.
And that's kind of interesting because most of the ones we do are on Saturday night, but Valentine's Day this year, and John, you probably know this is on.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. Good call, my man.
You honestly did know that?
I knew that. Yeah.
Yep.
I plan ahead.
Pam is one lucky woman.
Yep. So that's that whole property and everything else is really special, and it's a little less than 400 acres. Very little development. The Sturgeon River runs through it, which is the headwaters are here in Otsego County. Blue Ribbon Trout Stream. Like we mentioned earlier, incredible views, and it's just something special. And a unique thing is you ski by a couple of these buildings. So when this guy did this Project Nature 30 years ago, he had all these animals indigenous to North America, but for whatever reason, he also had a giraffe.
That's right. There's a giraffe.
So there's
house.
a giraffe barn, not a house. It's a barn. They don't.
Okay.
It's a barn, Amy.
It's not a basement. It's a lower level.
Yeah.
So and it's funny. It's got like a 20-foot door, for the thing to get in and out of there. So there's just really really neat.
What are you
going
going
to
do with that building?
I think it's going to become a media house when media comes up and they can stay there.
You live in the giraffe house.
Yeah. It's a little sketchy
You
in
should
there.
bring a giraffe just for the fun of it for the weekend.
Rent a giraffe.
Yeah.
Clyde. He's here for the weekend.
Yeah. But hey, one of the other things too that happens here at the main resort that if people can get up and take advantage of, there's some going on this weekend, and I think 2 other weekends throughout the winter season is sled dog rides.
Oh, no way. I've never done that.
And it's they're incredible. I've done one once, and I'm not the smallest human being in the world, and but they're scheduled right now for the weekends of the 13th and 14th of January, the 10th and 11th of February, and the 24th and 25th.
And do you have to sign up ahead of time for those?
Absolutely. They get sold out in advance. And what's neat is, if you got children, you can, a parent and a small child can go. An adult can go, and there's a musher behind you, of course, and you go on this little ride. And we also do, during the weekend that's in our calendar of events, we do a thing called Meet the Dogs, which that doesn't cost anything. The dog sled rides do. But you can come out and meet all the dogs, and the mushers are there, and the handlers, and you can talk to them. So
that would be fascinating. That'd be really cool to see that up close.
Well, what's incredible, too, is, there might be 7 dogs that pull me, all 180 of me. Oh, wow.
Seems a little low, but okay.
But these dogs only weigh like 60 pounds. They're not that big. And when they want to go, they want to go. Right. And it's neat, too, like the musher, all of their verbal signals are usually in a foreign language, like German or something like that, so nobody else can mess with them when they're in a race. Nobody else can yell stop
so
or go.
So that your dogs just know this language.
Correct.
So what would be the language you would pick for your dogs? Like, would be some kind of weird, like,
well,
can't just be like Spanish because
well, a lot of them,
John would pick Spanish,
like
but
German or Swedish or something like that.
Interesting.
I don't know what I'd pick.
I've got a bilingual dog. Cool. That's kind of cool.
Arabic. No.
I did one of these rides a few years ago at a kennel. And I found it really fascinating because at the kennel that I went to, they had this huge kennel, and the dogs were mad if they didn't get chosen for the ride.
Right.
They love doing this.
Mm-hmm. They're made to run. Yeah, exactly.
They do, and it's funny. They show up in that truck, and it's a big pickup truck that's got that box on the back with all those little boxes, and it's funny when they get there, they're all sticking their heads out and ready to go.
I love
that. It's really neat. Their energy level and everything else is crazy.
Very cool. All right. Well, if people want to come up to Treetops Resort and enjoy all the things you have to offer this winter, where should they go for more information?
They can go to treetops.com. We actually we got a pretty good online reservation system if people are interested in that. There's a prominent push to chat button too on both our mobile and our main site, and then they obviously can call 888 Treetops.
Awesome. Well, if you want to do any of these great events we talked about, call now, make your reservation because they will sell out. Thanks, Barry Owens. All right, coming up next, John, guess what we're going to do? Beer of the week. So stay tuned to Behind the Mitten.
And welcome back to Behind the Mitten. John Gonzalez along with Amy Sherman having a great time here in Gaylord, Michigan. We're at Treetops Resort where all of our cool friends hang out. Right, Amy?
The coolest people in Michigan.
Yeah.
And special thanks to them for hosting us and Barry Owens for sharing the story of Treetops and all the great things that you can do up here in the winter. It's one of the best times to visit Gaylord.
It really is, and cool events too. He was talking about a Skiable Feast, the Wilderness Sleigh Ride Dinners, the dog sled, events as well. So a lot to do here at Treetops. Treetops.com for more information.
You nailed it.
Yeah,
Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, we got a couple of our friends. One of our friends back with us again, Paul Beachnau from Gaylord Tourism Bureau. Paulie B, welcome back.
Well, hey.
Haven't
gone anywhere.
You've been sitting right here the whole time.
cracking open beers.
Now with the coolest radio show hosts in Michigan.
Aw, thanks, Polly B. That's so nice. And we should welcome to the show our good friend, Gabe Bober. Thanks for coming on Behind the Mitten.
Woo, 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 woo.
Gabe is going to be doing, of course, Beer of the week in a little bit. But Gabe, you're the food and beverage director here at Treetops. And people might not expect Treetops to have an incredible program, but you guys not only make some